Hi, my name is Alessandro Gangelosi and that's a video tutorial coming from cgcookie.com for Max Cookie. This time we start to work on a new tutorial and I like to see how we can use Fume Effects to create some dust moved by a tire, a car tire. So I'm using a tire picked from a car, so we can use just this one, it's not a problem. Let's start merging, linking this one to this one, and this one to this one. Okay. Now I'd like to create a dummy, and we can align there to the center. Okay. And we can call it tire CTRL. Just to say that this one is the tire controller. So now we can simply move this one to animate, to animate the tire. So let's make some connection, but for this operation maybe we can just attach all the mesh, so we have just one mesh. So attach with this one and this one, and match material to material ID. Okay, perfect. So we have just a mesh, and that's the tire. Sorry, perspective. And I like to change the name to tire. Perfect. Let's see the pivot, center to objects. Okay. Now I like to control this one to the other one, so we can say that this one is as a Y parameter, and the transformation over the position, but it's better to have a different controller there. We have the TCB, so we change to position XYZ, Z, and I change the rotation to we can use the Euler XY, X, Y, and Z. Okay. So then we can connect now this one to this one. So we connect the Z movement to the Z movement. So this one has a Y parameter, transformation position Y to this one, transformation position Y. And it's, let's say, bidirectional, connect and close, and let's see if everything is right. And you see that everything is right. Okay, then we have the rotation over the x-axis, and we can go there, and we can say that we have an expression, float expression. Okay, and let's create a rotation, a variable, let's say rot, and rot is assigned to transformation, rotation, the x-axis, sorry, and I'm doing it wrong. Y, okay. And let's say that the movement will be, so 0 plus, let's say, rot. It will be really simple and not precise. So let's try it. You see, it's really too much. So we have to change it. I'm not doing a physical right stuff. I'm just doing a simple expression just to have a rotation movement. Okay. Let's say evaluate, and let's see if it works. It is too fast. So let's do a really simple thing. Let's say maybe 200, and let's say minutes to invert the rotation. Okay, close. Okay, we have to change a little bit more. Let's say maybe 300. It is a little bit better, but we have to change again. So let's go there, and let's say maybe 400. Okay. Maybe in the future we'll see how to rig a car. Okay. It seems a little bit, it can be a little bit more precise if we use, for example, 500 there for the factor we are using. Okay, now it is not bad. Okay, let's save, and let's say that we have, for example, 300 frames, and let's say that we'll animate it sorry. Okay, last frame, something like that, and let's see what we have. It is still moving too fast, so let's create also a camera. C key to have the camera there. Move this one, and then move the camera target. And let's say that we are starting with something like that. And we can pick the target, and we can link to the dummy. And let's see what happened. You see that we are continuously watching the tire, and then we can animate this one. So auto key, and we can move it. And maybe just at the end. We can have something like that. So let's see what happened. We are moving, we see how it is moving there, and then we move around. Okay, it's not bad. Now I'd like just to see in a better way. Okay, let's make a plane there. Sorry, plane okay, you see it's really simple, our tool there, and we can have a simple material, and the simple material can be done, let's say road, and we can use a substance map there, lot substance texture, and we have the asphalt, and let's see it. Let's go there, and we have for sure to tile more. It is not so high quality, but it is enough. Maybe we can see if we have better stuffs for the road. Let's try to use directly this one. Sorry. And this one seems not bad. It is not so high quality, but it can be enough for our purpose. Let's go at full screen. And that's our basic scene. Okay, now I'd like to have maybe it is moving a little bit still too fast. So let's try to double the slow down there with the properties, and let's say 1000. Evaluate and close. Okay, now it is a little bit better. Okay, so let's save, and now I'd like to have a particle emitter there, so we need to create a really simple objects there. Obviously there are a lot of kind of emitter we can create, and I'm just trying to figure a really simple effects just to see how it looks. You see that now we have this emitter there, and it is over the ground, and let's move it there. Let's imagine that we have a little bit of sand over the road, so we are moving with this one. I'd like to see the dimension there, so let's zoom, and we have to move this one down, so let's select and let's move it a little bit. Okay, then we can go back there, and let's move it there and there. Okay, full screen there, and we have the right stuffs. Okay, now we need a particle emitter that will be used by Fume Effects. So let's use Particle Flow, and let's open the particle view. Let's scale this one, and we need first of all a position object, because we need to emit from a mesh by a list and plane. I move it down there. We have starting from 0. Let's go in wireframe. We have starting from 0 until, let's say, 290, and let's say for the moment 2000 particles, and let's see what happens. Okay, so then we don't need for the moment to have speed, so this one can be set to 0, and we don't need rotation, so let's delete. So now we have, you see, particles over the ground. Then other thing we have to do in this moment is to select this one, right mouse button, properties, and we have no visibility to the camera because we don't need to see the particles. And then we need also a delete, because we have to kill the particles after some while. Delete, and let's say maybe not so much, maybe let's try with 10 frames and 4 for the variation. So you see the particles has not so long life, because we will have the a longer life just inside Fume Effects. So that's not bad, and I think we can go there, and we can set to dots because we don't need to see so much things. Let's say to see 100%, so we know how much particles we have, and we needed to understand if we have too much particles or not. Okay, save. Then we need to add a Fume Effects Particle Flow particle source, and we have to select this one. So you see that we have the source there. We need to have bigger radius to create the smoke. Let's imagine something around this value there, because maybe we have the scale completely wrong. Okay, so let's go. We need the Fume Effects, so let's use a perspective there, then objects, Fume Effects, and let's create it. Sorry, let's delete it, and then let's go there. Let's make it zoom there. Okay, Fume Effects, and let's create it. Now we set this proportion, and later we see if it's enough or not. Let's scale a little bit, and we'll try to use this one, because the possibility is to have a really big Fume Effects voxel space for the entire road, but it's better to have just this one to be able to have a faster simulation. So we need to link this one to the other objects. So link and select the tire control. So you see that now if you animate, the Fume Effect is moving together. So let's go there, and let's say to see the smoke, and then we like also to see the grid, and the grid is really big. Let's try with 10. Okay, so now it is little. I think we have for sure, sorry, to have it longer and something like that, because we have the smoke there. Okay, so now it is working. Perfect. Let's save. Now we have to set the basic parameters. So we have to set the folder, and I say in the Fume Effects cache, let's call it tire. Okay. 300 frames, 10 centimeters by scale, and let's see whatever. You see that the scale is wrong because we have just a grid 10 centimeters, and there the tire is a little bit bigger, but actually it's not a problem. To be fast, we can go with 100 for the maximum iteration. We can remove the simulate fuel, so we have just the smoke, and we can start to play a little bit with it. So object source, and let's add with the H key we have to pick it. So let's select there the PF source. Okay, it is there. Sorry, I can see more. I think I deleted. I made a mistake. I think I deleted the particle source. So let's create again this one. Okay, so back there and pick the particle source, and then we need also to have for the moment this one. Okay, so let's go in the camera, shade it. Let's open the preview there. Okay, it's good. It is faster in shaded. So I'd like to start make a test, and let's see. what we see there. You see that it's really bad actually. Okay. Let's go. Let's remove for the moment there the visualization inside the viewport, and I like to go there in the particle flow source, and we can use an higher quality there for the simulation. Let's try with 5 centimeters, 6 centimeters. Okay, and we have to simulate the speed, and we need for sure the collision with the tire. We need the collision with the ground. Okay, let's see what happened. You see that the tire is moving the dust, so we have for sure to change a little bit the tire interaction there. So we can change it now. First of all, let's go there and let's have a little bit less. Okay. Sorry. And the tire, we can say about the speed multiplier there to 0.1. Let's see if it is better. Okay, you see that we have not so much movement there. Okay, then let's go there inside the render. Let's remove fire because we have no fire. And there I'd like to have just one color, so right mouse button, keyless mode, and we can go for a dust color, something like that, and we can have less opacity, you see, something like that, really simple. Okay, then let's check a little bit the particle system. PF source, and let's change a little bit, so the speed, we need a little bit of speed, reverse, a little bit of variation, 10, and a little bit of divergence. So let's see what happened now. Maybe a little bit more and more speed. Okay, let's go back there, reopen this one, and let's see what happened. Okay, so you see that's what we see actually. First of all, let's start to have more vorticity. So vorticity to the maximum, and then I like to have also a turbulence, let's say a force of 5 centimeters, and the scale is maybe, so let's say for example for the scale we have 8 centimeters there, so let's say maybe 50 centimeters or maybe also more, and let's go for 4 for the tail, and frames, let's say we have 15. Let's see again what happened. Now you see that we start to have turbulence inside the dust movement. Obviously the scale is really low actually, so we have to tune a lot of stuffs, and we need also to simulate the wind because we are moving. So let's remove this one, and we need for sure to have a little bit less turbulence, let's say 2 centimeters. Okay, to simulate the wind we need to create a wind space warp, and this must be in this direction to simulate the wind, and this one must be linked to the tire control, so you see we are moving with it. And we need an higher value because in FumeFX the dynamic is a little bit different from than 3ds Max, so we need more force. Let's go back to 3D to FumeFX, and inside the objects we need to add also the force. Let's see what happens now that we have also the wind. Okay, let's stop because we have to tune more parameters. Okay, the first thing I like to do now is to set a better scale for the stuffs, because I was checking and the scale is really big. We have 200 meters for the tire, and that's too big. So we have to work with a better scale because it's impossible to work in this way. So to scale everything, we can, for example, select all the stuffs in this way, and let's start rescaling everything. Or we can just see the plane, and you see it's too much. So let's say in meters, customize unit setup, meters. Okay, that's 173 100 meters by 28 meters, so it's a little bit too big. Let's say that this one must be maybe 6 meters, so this one can be something around 35 meters. Let's go in a perspective. Okay, that's our plane, and let's see our tire. So let's select the tire control, and the first position can be this one. Sorry, I have to move it with the camera too. Okay, so let's go there. Now I'd like to take a measure there, and we have 1 meters and 7. It is a little bit too big, so let's say rescale by 50. Okay, we have to move it. Obviously now the animation must be changed, or we need some changes to the scene. Okay, this one there, this one, this one in the middle, and let's select the second plane. Okay, everything is working again in a better way. Then we need there, let's say, less particles, let's say maybe 500, and we need to kill it later, so let's say 15 frames, and let's say that we have a variation of 6. Now let's go back there sorry, and we can go there to scale. So perspective and zoom. Okay, this one must be bigger, let's say something like that. It can be a little bit more little, and it can be for sure lower. Then we can go there, we have the right scale there, and we can say that now we are working with generic units. Okay, so let's go in the camera and let's see. The scale, and let's start with something like that. Okay, let's go back and let's say that we have maybe nothing so much, let's say 0.5 for the turbulence, and the scale can be enough. The scale is really low. Let's go for something more little. Okay, we have to change the scale of the, first of all I like to see if the dynamics there is right, and we have to change a little bit this one. Okay, no variation for the moment. I like to go back to the previous way and narrate the movement. Okay, something like that, and back to the particle source there. We can scale more little there, and again we can have a lower plane there, and let's see. You see that now we have the dust on the ground. Let's try to have a faster simulation, maybe 30. Okay, let's check again. Okay, we have a little bit the parameters are a little bit out of scale, so we can play a little with the parameters inside the plugin. Let's say, for example, that we have a velocity multiplier set to 10 just to see if something happens in a better way. I have to exaggerate a little bit wind, and let's say 200, I'm moving all the parameters really up to see changes, and we need to play a little bit also there. First of all, let's try to have more turbulence. Okay, we start to have, you see, turbulence there. Maybe now is a little bit too much. Okay, let's have less. Let's try with 30. The wind is not bad. Maybe it's a little bit too high actually, because you see that it's moving really fast, but we have to check it. It's not right to say when we have no way to check it. Now I think that the smoke is going too much higher there. Let's simulate some more frames, and then we see a preview manually. I think that we have to plan in a different way. Okay, so we need for sure a little bit less wind, but we can simulate the same stuffs with a little bit of velocity damping. Let's try with 0.2, so we'll have the damping to the speed. And another thing we can do is to have a little bit less turbulence. Let's try with 15. Let's make a new preview. I think that the damping is a little bit too much. Okay, it's too much. Sure. So let's try with 0.1. It should be a little bit better. I stopped the recording so we can see more frames together later. Okay, let's stop it and we can see what we created. And you see that's the dust moved, and it's not bad actually. I mean, and we need for sure to have maybe a little bit more wind. We can have less dust, and we can just see that if we have, you see, a really low opacity, you see that it is better. So we can create less dust, and that's not bad actually. You see, the quality is not bad. We need more wind, and we need to have lower dust moved, but we can see, for example, what we have. First of all, save. Let's see what we have if we render a frame. Let's say to use the full scan line, and we need the same rendering engine there. Let's say custom 900 by 400. let's see what happened. You see the dust is really low, so we can have a basic lighting for the moment, so we can go for an omni light. I'm not doing nothing so important there for lighting at the moment, so let's say just to have the atmosphere on, and there let's say that the illumination is done by HD, H key and Omni, and let's see what we can see there. Okay, you see that we start to see this one, and let's open again, and inside the render we say that the smoke is cast shadow and receive shadow. Okay, so it is creating dust over there, and we can see it better if we go, for example, there. If we say that it is more visible, you see that now it's more dense, and there you can see that we have the dust. Let's go, for example, in a perspective view, and let's see it from there. You see that we have the dust in the working in the right way, and we have to tune a lot of parameters actually, so we can, for example, for the moment save in this way, and in the next part we'll work more on the other stuffs. Let's pick just the material from this one, and this one is a silver material, and we can simulate it by using this one, and we can have a really high, this one can be really dark, and we'll have the reflection, and to have the reflection we can use the Retrace Map. Okay, let's see what happened in this way. It will be a really chromic material actually, you see. And then we need the tire material, and the tire material actually will be simulated in a really simple way. Let's see, we have no map actually, so let's go there, and let's say that we have a standard material, and we can have a really dark color there and a little bit of specularity. It must be darker. Okay, so actually it's just a test. It is not so important to have it in the right way. As you see, we have just a starting base for our scene, and that's just a test. We have to work with it to create a better look and to make the final simulation. So let's say in the next part we'll work to create a better shader for the ground, to finalize the shader for the tire, and to finalize the look and the simulation there for the dust. So for the moment that's all, and I hope to see you back on Max Cookie to check for the tutorial coming from cgcookie.com. Bye.